together.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark. Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? It is 27Pulls, and it looks like it's just Jim, but no. Nate is waiting in the halls, getting ready to be introduced as the #1 contender for the heavyweight championship. What vampire, dude? I'm going wrestling here.
No, wrestling sucks.
Wrestling sucks. What are you talking about? Dan Warren Johnson, amazing. Do a powerbomb. Anyway.
Yeah, it was perfect except for the wrestling.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, welcome to episode 147? 46?
Sure.
What is
148.
148. Jeez, man, I'm out of it. But anyway, welcome to episode 148 or issue 148. We'll talk about a little bit of business first, and then we'll get on to the show. So as always, we're going to talk about our show's sponsor, Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. They have 3 locations, one in Fort Worth, one in Keller, and one in Irving. So if you're ever in the DFW area, make sure to hit up Collected Comics and Games. That's where me and Nate get our comic books and anything nerdy. They got an amazing shops that do some really cool. They just got a really cool shit. They got really cool shit in their store, and you should go check it out. They got a lot of stuff. You know, anything between comic books, models, toys, graphic novels, card games, board games, dice, plushies, snacks. I mean, they got everything, man. So head on over to Collected Comics and Games. Go check them out. They're amazing. And make sure to go say hi to Ron and Brent and the whole gang. As always, we're going to talk about our sub goal giveaway, which we're getting close, man. Like every day I check and we get 1 subscriber here, 1 subscriber there. We're at 923 subscribers as recording this show. Now that number fluctuates. It goes ups and downs. But right now, as I speak, we're at 923 subscribers. So if you are not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated because we give away things when we hit certain milestones, sub-milestones. And we've got 2 right now on the table, 1 for 950 subscribers and 1 for 3,000 subscribers. Now, me and Nate went to a convention this Saturday, Cowtown Comic-Con. And it was pretty interesting to see a bunch of raw... Amazing Spider-Man #4's first appearance of Silk, and the price on that. So we're giving away a close to $1,000 key here. It's getting really close. So just be aware that we're giving away something really kick-ass at 1,000. But when we hit 950, which we're getting close, giving away the CBCS 9.8 King in Black #5. Spoiler variant, Ryan Stegman's amazing book. We'll be giving this away when we hit 950 subscribers, so make sure to hit that sub button. And when we hit 1,000, like I just said, we're giving away, we're still doing it. We're giving away the CBCS 9.8 Amazing Spider #4 Original Sin tie-in, first appearance of Silk. So if you want a chance to win this thing, you gotta subscribe. So make sure to hit that sub button. Watch everything that is 2FatGuysPulls. We're having a great time over here. And we know you'll have a great time over here too when you go ahead and join. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend.
Allergy eyes.
Allergy eyes
himself.
Allergy eyes, big beard Nate. Give it to clap. Oh, trim the slow clap for the champ, please.
I'll clap myself in.
Anyway, what up, guys?
My eyes are bothering me.
They're bothering you? Are they burning?
No, yeah, I was at my parents for like 5 hours today, and they have cats. So.
Oh, they have cats.
Mm-hmm.
No bueno.
I'm
not a big cat fan. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they're cool. They look cute. but they're kind of asses. I mean, I know they can be nice if they want to be.
Theirs are like scared of everything, so I never see them.
Oh,
I
you never
just
see them.
feel the effects of them.
Look, scared of cats.
Literally.
Anyway, let's get to the chat here really quick. Lane says, hey guys, hope things are going well. Looking forward to some comic talk. Just picked up older comic Batman, Gargoyle of Gotham, and picked up Jean Grey #2.
Nice.
Patty, what's up? Yeah, it was a great week. Hopefully we have another great week ahead of us. Joe, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, let's get ready to talk some comics. Thank you, Joe. John, what up, yeehaw? Jaden, what's up? Joe, as much as they say Stan Lee was portrayed in the bio I Am Stan, I can't deny how amazing it was. The ending of Stan Lee dying in his bed while his nurses reads him, it broke my soul. Interesting.
Ooh.
Make sure to pound that like button, folks. Yes, make sure to dab on that button just like Patty is doing right there. Whoop whoop. Cats and dogs living together, pure mayhem. All right, well, this week was actually, I wouldn't say beefy, but it was pretty meaty.
I had to make some cuts this week.
I made one cut, and
well, I bit off more than I can chew by adding extras.
Oh well, you did that yourself, yeah. What up, Calvin?
Yeah. So, just so in case you're looking for these books, we're not going to cover them, but I will give you my feedback either on next week's show or maybe on Twitter.
Well, why don't you do just a quick, do a rapid right now, rapid fire. Go.
I'm saying these are the books I skipped.
Oh, you skipped.
Power Girl. I wanted to read that one. Didn't get to it. Flash. Wanted to read it. Didn't get to it. Moon Knight 3. I don't know why you're not picking this up.
Because 2 lost me.
No. And then the last Ultimate Invasion.
Yeah.
I was like, I told myself, yeah, I'm going to read all 4 of them so I can remember what's going on. And that was.
John says, I had to make a ton of cuts because all of the Marvel books are overpriced. Yeah, they are getting pretty pricey.
Yeah, see, and that was... The collector in me got me. I almost didn't pick up Ultimate Invasion because it was an $8.99 book.
Nah.
But
nope.
I did just so I could have the...
I can't do it. No thanks. Anyway, well, okay. So you skipped some. I skipped some. I skipped a book in the middle of reading it. I was like, I'm done. But we all know which one that's going to be when we get there. But let's go ahead and just get it started.
Colin, that's good to know. I need to check out her video because I find myself agreeing with Casually Comics like 99.9%.
Interesting. Well, first up, we have the Avengers issue number 5 from McKay. It's not going the way I thought it was going to go, but I'm still enjoying it. When I tamper my expectations, that's not a bad thing. I know that sounds bad, but it's just not. My expectations are going in this direction. McKay's going in this direction, and the direction he's going in is absolutely fine. It is doing what an Avengers book needs to do. Right? It's the team, and they're fighting a massive threat. Yay. So if I put my expectations to the side, I thought this issue was actually really fun. I really dig the villain that has literally a portal inside of her that can transport her army to wherever she's at. That is really cool. I thought that was pretty kick-ass, and her little tussle with Vision was really kick-ass. The predictable thing in this issue is the flying city spaceship. I think we all can agree that is going to be the Avengers' new base. And I'm guaranteed. No, it's going to be. It's going to be their new base because they don't have the Celestial anymore. And this is what's going to get the Avengers off the Earth and is going to get them to fight threats that are actually worth fighting. The Avengers worth fighting. That'll get them to fight these big threats, but it only makes sense because it's not happening on Earth. That's my prediction for this book. Now, with that happening, if this ship does not have a teleporter on it to get back to Earth, I think we may lose Iron Man very quickly because he is so interconnected with the X-Men right now that if they have this spaceship that can go anywhere in the universe, I don't see him being a part of the team at that point, because he has to be on Earth with Emma and figuring out, the whole Orcus situation. But again, that's me predicting. But I think for sure that this spaceship, this living city spaceship, will end up being the Avengers' new base, and it'll be that for the next 5 years. Because that's what we had. We had the Celestial Avengers Mountain thing for 5 years with Jason Aaron. So I think that's where we're headed. So overall, I thought the issue was fun. I liked that we got a little bit more of a more of an in-depth character development with these two villains. One being the guy that can age things, and then the chick that's got the army, the endless army that she can portalize out of her mouth stomach. I thought that was really cool. I found that very unique. But John says, I like McKay's Avengers, but not enough happening. Yeah, I think it is slowed down since issue 1 for sure.
So I'm a little bit colder on this issue.
Okay.
I got halfway through the issue and I said, you know what? If this wasn't McKay, I'd be done.
Okay.
If I wasn't McKay, I'd be done. And I started the book the exact same way you did, or the way you described it, which was, hey, I know I need to put my expectations aside. I need to just read the book for what it is.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what? I've actually done that for 5 issues now, and that's not fair. If I'm telling myself that for an entire arc, that means that the problem's with the arc, not with me, at least in my own personal enjoyment, not criticizing those that liked it. And so I was basically like, I'm not done, but like this is gonna move from like I read it first because it's in chronological order to it's at the bottom of my stack and I have to cringe through it.
I'll get to
it until we got to the ship part. We got to the ship part that's like, yo, like everything, y'all are all gonna die and everything's gonna be so bad. And I wish I could stop it. And I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And so that added a lot more intrigue to the story, kind of brought me back in it a little bit. I for some reason was very turned off by the bad person that could create and pull enemies from within her. Yeah, I was like, it's getting to the point now where it feels like every Avengers book has to have a villain that just the only way you can beat them is by do ex machina, just by a random act of God, and nothing could have ever done it. Oh, but this one random molecule happened to touch a certain firmament in a different universe that created a portal and killed them. You're like, no, like I'm kind of over that, like just massive baddie right at the very beginning of the story. But the other character that was basically like so apathetic about his destruction that he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to feel something, man.
Yeah.
Feel anything. I was like, all right, that's a perspective from a villain that I can be interested in. So that mixed with the ship definitely brought me back and said, okay, I'm very excited for issue 6. I want to see this going. And now you saying the ship might become the Avengers' next base. I did not think of that at all. That's a super cool thought.
I mean, it's that's what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be a character too, clearly, because I mean, it has a mind. It's got a personality. So I think that's I don't think he's gonna waste that. I think that's gonna be that's their base, dude. It's totally their base. Yeah. John, my problem with Joe, my problem with Avengers is so far isn't the art, it isn't the writing, nor the characters in the book, but it's the story itself, the pace. The first arc should be loud and exciting, not what we got. Also, I'm sticking with Avengers, though. I want to see Carol grow as a leader, and this is the only chance I get for Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Yeah, now that other book is...
No, I think there's definitely a lot of potential. I mean, we haven't even dived into the timeless stuff with Kang and, like, this Camelot, those guys that are coming in to kill him. Like, we've got a lot. There's a lot of potential here, and I think it's just... It almost feels like it's a generic opener just to kind of get people in the door that may not necessarily be massive Avengers fans. And that could be a hit or miss at this point. It just really depends on your liking when it comes to reading.
Yeah, and I do want to say I'm very much with Joe on that. Like, I'm sticking with it. Don't let what I just said make you think that I was like borderline dropping it, because the key part is it's McKay, and McKay has earned a massive amount of leeway for me, and so like I can't possibly see myself dropping this thing. Minimum of like 3 arcs. Like,
I mean, I think McKay is going to have, once we get through X, once X gets through whatever next big massive event they have up their sleeve, I think in the fall of 2024, we're both going to be sitting here going, here comes McKay's big Avenger event that's going to span across the entire Marvel comic book universe. And it'll be kick-ass. I mean, we'll probably see, Moon Knight involved and Tigra and like all of it, like Hellcat, the whole crew is going to be showing up. We'll just have to wait and see. I think he's due as well. I think he's due to have a really big, we've given it to Jason Aaron, we've given it to Hickman. Don't get me wrong, Hickman's getting ready to do his Spider-Man thing, which we're kind of holding off on a lot of the stuff that was announced for Comic-Con, for New York Comic-Con, and we have plans to do a really big video for all those announcements, so we're not going to really talk about that. But I think, once they're real. But I think the next big thing to come, I think, is going to be from McKay and his Avengers and his just perspective on Marvel. I think, which will be great. I think it'll be really fun. Yeah, no way in hell I'm dropping this McKay. Some of this recent Doctor Strange Stories awards rewarded me for sticking with it. Nice, John.
Yeah, that's a series. The first trade comes out next week, and I think I might pick it up and maybe do that series in a trade.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Immortal Thor, issue number 2. Definitely the cover of the week. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty damn good. I will say it's good, but there's another one that has just got me like a heart and soul. I will say gladly, I think issue 2 for me redeemed it for me. It redeemed the book. I think issue 1, I was, a combination of being tired on a plane and just trying to get through my book, so I was prepared for the show that Sunday. But this one to me I think it read for me a lot smoother than issue 1. I think issue 1, that might have been the issue. It's just issue 1 was so thick with setup, and not even setup, just like the language that was used was just like, I just like my feeble little brain couldn't handle it. Like I just couldn't get through I just couldn't do it. Even though what happened in that book in issue 1 was very, like you said, it was very monumental. You don't just create the Rainbow Bridge for nothing, man. You can't just do that shit without consequence. And we start to see a little more of that in this book. And I felt a little bit more grounded in this Utgard Thor and his massive thunder wheel or lightning wheel, whatever the fuck it is. So it just felt, this one felt more complete in my reading. And I really liked how it ended. I am all about this misdirection, mistrust between Thor and Loki. I think they're doing something, right? They have what would appear to be some kind of undying love for their brother, but at the same time, I think they have an underlining motive, and we just don't know if that motive is good or bad. I mean, that's probably a mischaracterization. You probably can't say that. It's good for them, right? It's not one way or the other. It's just something that they have to do.
Yeah.
But I am intrigued by that mystery. Like that part with Loki and them kind of just making Thor go through the steps of saying, do you trust me as this, and this? To me, that's like classic Ewing, just like swinging the bat, just winding up the bat. You're like, get ready, guys, because we're about to blow it out of the fucking park, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I think so. I have two things. First one is this book did exactly what Avengers did for me, or maybe not to the extreme, of course, but like the first half of this book, I was sort of a little meh on. The battle, the way that the battle with the Utgard Thor wrapped up felt a little yeah.
Sort
of like, I can open a portal to a different dimension. Like, it's a little 60s Silver Age for me. Okay. And then when he was like, oh wait, if I spin this really fast, I'll reverse time. Then the Statue of Liberty came back. I'm like, Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to address that, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
But to me, the Loki shit made this go from like, oh, this is a little silly, whatever, to like, oh, this is it. Like, this is.
Yeah.
And one thing that Al Ewing I think does well that makes him appreciated by readers is he makes really strong character statements.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just the generation that we're reading in, or maybe there's a different era that I haven't read that does this, but it feels like a lot of writers are scared to make really firm character decisions for certain characters or for characters in general. I think that's one of the things that made Donny Cates really popular is not only does he do things over the top, but he makes really definitive character statements that are character defining. And, you know, I think maybe some people are scared that if it doesn't hit and has to get retconned, then it kind of makes them look bad, which I can understand. But like, for me, Thor has had this interaction with Loki, which you could say is sometimes lukewarm, sometimes strong. Some characters write it as they're very close. Sometimes characters write it as they hate each other. Sometimes people do it in the middle. And I absolutely love that Ewing makes the stand in the most clearly definitive way that like Thor is fully committed to his brother or to his sibling. To fully committed is like, even with all this shit that you're saying, yes, I trust you. I think that's a really strong character statement. I really enjoy it.
I think he kind of has to, being, you know, the king. You know, I mean, he doesn't. You know, I think if he wasn't Odin, essentially, or what do you call him now? Just the king of Asgard or whatever. I think he could have just a twinge of like, I don't trust you. I don't know, you know. But this is like he's fully like he has to be fully committed to his brother because he has to be fully committed to the 10 realms. Like he has to be. He has to. That's his fucking job. But on top of that, he's got that, you know, blood thicker than water with his brother. You know, even though technically not. But that I think speaks volumes also to the growth of the character, right? You know, if we were in the War of Realms arc, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Like it just wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. Couple things in chat.
Yeah.
Lane said, I read the first issue. This one was kind of so dropped this book. Totally valid. James,
I was right there with you. Yeah, I was almost there.
John said, first half of this issue 1 was hard to get through, but I'm digging this, and the use through thought balloons felt old but fresh. Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. I was like, man, it's been a while since I've seen that like bubbly thought balloon. Joe says, I'm digging this run. When I read it, I want to read it slow and embrace the story and art. I don't think this will be popcorn storytelling, and it's more of a trust between us and Ewing. I agree. I think this feels like classic Ewing. Calvin says, how do you guys like Thor's costume, like the return to the OG? I want to know your opinion before I say mine.
I'm torn because I like it. I really do. I do like the classic Thor costume. I think it just kind of, to me, breathes Ewing, you know, and like his kind of style of like, I'm sure like when they gave it to him, he's like, I want to go back to, and maybe not. Maybe like, if we ever got to interview Ewing, he'd be like, no, Marvel was like, go back to the classic. And I was like, all right, right. But I just kind of feels kind of classic Ewing, like just something he'd want to do. But I'm torn because I thought the costume that Donny Cates and was it Nick Klein?
Yes.
Yeah. What they developed to me just felt right. If that makes any sense. Like I just liked that costume. I thought it like you were saying, a definitive statement, right? Like just a stamp on it and being like, we're going fucking metal, right? Not to say that Odin's classic costume is pretty fucking metal too. I mean, it is, you know, it breathes the classic, more Led Zeppelin type metal, right? Whereas Donnie was more, you know, the sword. You know, that just felt deeper. So I'm a little torn with it because there's times where it just looks so kick-ass, But then there's other times where in the panel, and it has nothing to do with the way it's drawn, it's just the costume itself, it feels very, original Thor. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it at times it feels, in my opinion, that it doesn't match the tone of the story. Especially with the way you see Loki dressed right now. Like the way Loki is dressed, he's not in his classic uniform. Like he's in his classic costume. He's in a much richer and deeper and more eccentric and detail-oriented costume, whereas Thor is back into his classic look. So I think, again, it's... I have to wonder who made the call. Was it Marvel or was it Al Ewing? But if it was Marvel, then you would assume they would have said, well, Loki's got to be in his classic garb too, because he's not. They're in a very modern version, very unique version of their costume. So I'm split 50-50. Like I like it, but I also liked what Donnie did and Nick Klein did. And again, that's probably just leftover resentment from them not being able to do what they wanted to do, and I need to get over that. So that's where I'm at. That's me.
Oh, I hate it. I super hate it. I mean, I don't think that's surprising to anyone. But yeah, no, I thought the Donny Cates, Nick Klein stuff was like definitive. We are King Thor. Like he even had the little crown thing. Like that. I was all about that. I hate the 6 titty dots down the side. Like hate it. Now,
are they titty dots or are they big plates?
It doesn't matter. They look like flat boobies. I don't care. I don't like it. I think it looks
fat,
but
flat boobies.
All that being said, like whatever. Lose my mind over it. But if asked my opinion, which I will say yucky, hate it.
Let's get back to it here, Kevin. I was about to say that I dig the old suit back to the basic, not as 2012. Ewing has done good with this main character, Hulk Magneto. Now I'm excited what he will do with Thor. Howard the Duck went on a quest to find out what happened to thought balloons. I guess we found them. Also, what he has done with Storm is legendary. I love Storm. His Storm is amazing. I'm finished collecting Howard the Duck Volume 1. We need more silly duck times with this. I want a Howard the Duck ongoing. Like, I want it bad. Just because Nate will be like, I'm never fucking reading it. And then it'll be like Donny Cates and so-and-so do it. And you'll be like, fine.
Hey, Chip Zdarsky did one and I'm not touching it. So I don't know.
I think if Donny Cates did it, you'd pick it up. I like the classic look, but the change between Thor's costume was abrupt. No, it felt like a wash. It felt like, this never happened. That's what Thor belongs beside, based Motley Crue. Titty plates. I'm not a fan, but I don't hate it as much as Cyclops going back to his 90s costume. You don't like the 90s costume of Cyclops? Hold on. You don't like this one?
You shouldn't like anything of Cyclops.
I love this version of Cyclops.
Yeah, it's because of nostalgia, though. It's not because it's actually good. It's just nostalgia.
It's amazing. What are you talking about? Shut up. You don't like Cyclops.
Nostalgia.
No, it's not. Anyway, Thor was fine. It was good. I liked the end. I'm really stoked for that.
It was fine.
It sucked. It was great. No, it was amazing. I haven't read Al Ewing's Guardian Run. Which character benefited the most from that team? I'd say Star-Lord.
Well, I would say Star-Lord if Jackson and Lanning decided to ever mention or talk about it.
They did it once.
I would actually say, for me personally, Moondragon and Phyla-Vell benefited the most from that.
But they're not even in the current book.
Okay, but he said from the Al Ewing run, which characters benefited the most.
But it's almost
benefited the most was from that run was those two characters. They got some good character expansion, and we got more of their romance and their relationship. I think that has a lot of value.
Pew, pew, pew.
But I'm also saying that that value is secondary to Star-Lord's if we use it.
Yeah, if anyone actually utilizes
it. Because he has appeared without it being used. If they were to if Moondragon and Phyla-Vell were to appear again and like their relationship was gone or any of that stuff,
Yeah.
was removed, then I would
Yeah.
say, okay, it's not there.
Yeah.
Fuck that up. But
Well, and I'm hoping that after this Guardians run, which we don't even have it this week, that it just like this didn't happen. Like this is where we're starting. Anyway.
Also,
right.
by the way, did you see that we're getting Phyla-Vell as a Marvel Snap card?
No shit.
In her martyr suit or martyr outfit when she during
What,
the
like what?
Annihilation stuff.
And like not this season, but next or what?
November.
Okay, yeah. Have you seen the Marvel cards for
Yeah, they're
October?
all cosmic shit. Like there's Annihilus, Martyr.
No. I'm talking about for October.
Gladiator. I don't know. I don't know when they are.
It's October. October is obviously Halloween.
Oh right, so we got Werewolf by Night.
Which it was kind of like an afterthought when they talked about it. Like he was like, "Oh, and we're getting Werewolf by Night." But the Bloodstone, or what's her name?
Something.
She
Bloodstone.
actually has something that might like fucking wreck the game.
Ethel
So,
Bloodstone.
yeah. So anyway, I got Marvel Legends of Cyclops. Hell yeah! All right. Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man issue number 10. Again, I need to tamper my expectations. I liked the story. Don't get me wrong. I really liked the story. I wished that they were more. I just wish there was more of a relationship there. Like there clearly is.
Yes, John. Thank you.
Elsa Bloodstone. But it's not, it's not what the covers are depicting, right? It's clearly for survival, and to get, just to push forward and make sure that the mutants live and Tony gets back his empire. But there are little hints here and there of the two, like, cheekily digging each other, and it's pretty evident. But if I, put aside that expectation, I really loved their little trap they set for Fei Long and in the wedding, and even Tony going like, this is the beginning of the end. Like this is where the tide turns. And I like that. And I like that we set it. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't help any new readers. Where did this come from? Well, you got to go read Iron Man. And that kind of sucks. Like they pulled a DC at that instance because there's going to be a footnote, and you're going to have to go back and read Iron Man if you really want to understand all that shit.
I don't think we can discredit them that anymore. I think the X line is so. We've been doing this for 4 years now, where it's been you got to follow everything to get it. I don't think we can keep using that against them. Like everyone that's buying those books is buying into that. If you're reading any of these books that have anything to do with Krakoa and its peripheries, if you expect to be able to know everything by just reading just X-Men or just X-Force or just X-Men Red, then you're the fool, because
but
the establishment's been made clear.
It's unfortunate. Like I was talking to Lee before this issue came out, and she said somebody came into the store the other day and was like, I want to read Iron Man. Like, what's going on in Iron Man right now? And she's like, I don't know if you should, because if you were, but if you think about it, if you were not say you were in a position like we were when we first started, and it's like, let's read Iron Man, and you were to read this run, right? Like from number 1, you would be lost because it's not as cut and dry in the sense of a new beginning like the previous Iron Man run that we read that we absolutely loved. And it was like, we are starting here and you don't really need to read anything to figure out what the hell's going on. Whereas with this one, you get into it and you're like, whoa, where, what's going on? And now you get to this issue. I think it's a jump. You know what I mean? I just feel, I feel bad for anyone that's wanting to just read a Iron Man run, but comics at the same time, comics are kind of not like that anymore, right? Like everything is interconnected, and it's really connected with, this book should have a Fall of X badge on it. It should, because we're dealing with it. Like we're dealing with X-Men right now.
It's really, I think it's a really interesting tell when Marvel decides to put Fall of X on an Iron Man book, and when they decide not to. I think it's a really it's a really strong tell because they'll put it on there when they think it'll sell the book, and they take it away when they think it'll deter the book. I think when they first started putting it on during the gala stuff, which was barely even linked, they were like, shit, we need to help boost this book. And then I think either sales were good or customers were complaining or something, because now all of a sudden it's gone when it definitely should be there. I think that's I agree. This should have a logo on it for sure.
Little footnotes here and there. I really like the use of Kingpin here and him throwing his weight around. And I like that Tony is the new king, and the Black King, and like there's momentum being built in this book and in the X-Men books for Tony that I think he could actually have a lot more weight within the Marvel comic book universe outside of just, hey, I'm the tech guy, I'm really rich and arrogant, and I save the day every time. Like there's some actual movement for this character to have some worth that he hasn't had in a very long time, I think, within Marvel. Especially with like readers like you who like, I can't fucking stand Tony, like he's an asshole. And now he's doing some cool shit.
No, I think I've officially changed my mind.
Your mind?
On my viewpoint of Tony. I think Christopher Cantwell is the main factor of that. But I think I like what Gary Jerry has done with him so far. And I almost skipped this book. This was the last book I read this week. It was I almost was just like, no. But I tried not to skip any books that you read, and so I was like, no, sit down, let's read this. I actually was reading this while the Cowboy Book started, while I was on my parents. So I was like, no, I'm gonna give this issue its worth, and I just liked it so much more than I expected. One of the things that I liked about it, and I got halfway through this book, and I was like, why does this book feel? I was like, oh, this is only issue 10, but I feel like I've been reading this book forever. Like it feels comfy, cozy to me. And I realized, and this may not be anything to some people, but to me, and for Marvel, it's shocking. We've had the same artist on every single book for this run. Except for the one book that had the flashback to him being on the West Coast Avengers. There was a fill-in artist to do the flashback parts. But besides that, Juan Frigeri has been on all 10 issues, and he's on all the next 4 that are solicited. How do we, why can we not do that? And this man's art is not stick figure, so this man is doing good art.
No, he's doing good shit.
And I think that just goes to show that the consistency creates almost like a back of the mind sort of good feeling, comfort, or like nostalgia, or whatever word you want to use to describe it. But I was just like, man, I feel like I haven't read a Tony book in forever, and yet here I am back in only a month later, and I feel like I haven't left at the same time. What is this feeling? So I think that was part of it for sure.
Yeah.
But I just also, I don't know. I think seeing the way that he is dealing with things, consistently trying to make amends. I know that's kind of a core tenet of his idea, but I don't know. I was super on this book. I really enjoyed it. This is probably one of my, I don't know if it might be my Marvel pick of the week.
Ooh, wow. Should I push the button?
No. I'm only, there's only one.
Okay.
But actually, I mean, yeah, I don't even know what I would pick. Doesn't matter. It was a good book. I really did. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, on your former point, I would really love to get somebody associated with Marvel on the show and just ask him point blank, what's up with the lack of consistency in artists? Is it a money issue? Is it a timing issue, or what? Is it the way your contracts are structured, or is it purely based on the artist and their workload? What is it? Because we can tell you right now that when the art is consistent, when the art is good and it's consistent, it makes us incredibly excited and just waiting to get to the store to pick up the book, because it, look at Hassan Powers, right? I know there's only 6 issues of each, but that is what, outside of just the grand idea of it all in Hickman's amazing vision, the artwork in that book and those books really sold it. Like, it just looked phenomenal, and it's part of it's part of it. And here's the other thing, and we'll get back into this. We'll get into this conversation, this argument. If they can do it in manga, right? They can do it in manga, and you can have an artist, right, that says, "This is my style. Here's how I draw," and then 5 to 7 or 8 other people come in on the book and help them draw it out to get it out in a certain amount of time. The same can be done in American comics. It can be. Yep. And so I think there's got to be there's something else going on that's not allowing there to be some form of consistency. I don't give a shit. Like, there's a way to mimic. And so if Nick Klein can't stick with it because he's got too many projects, then bring someone else in to help him that can mimic the same style, because it's definitely doable. I guarantee you it's doable. Yeah. And it would help. It would help. It would help. And this is more of an argument. I think this is more of a, Marvel does it, but DC is way more guilty of that. I mean, how many times have we gotten into a book? It's like, this book's fucking awesome. 3rd issue in, we're like, up, change, up. And it's like flat as fuck. It sucks. Yeah. I've gotten behind on chat. So let's sit with Joe. Joe says, what other X books I need to read to understand Iron Man book? I think if you're willing to do it, it's just X-Men. For him, it's X-Men. I would say that's his book.
Well, yeah. So I would say at a minimum, the Hellfire Gala issue that launches off Fall of X. If you don't read that, you'll be truly lost. Yeah. You have to read that. I would say that reading the Duggan books that are written by Duggan would be, or reading X-Men, I guess it would be beneficial. Yeah. Uncanny has only been 2 issues out, so I don't know if I can say Uncanny Avengers is worth it or not. But
that's more
for sure Hellfire Gala. For sure Hellfire
Gala. Jay and I agree. Werewolf by Night will lose half its charm. It loses the whole Wizard of Oz effect at the end. The ending was great because of that. Patty, I'm following these characters can be like following a wire in a car harness. Once you understand what's going on, it all starts to sing like a song and becomes enjoyable. I think that last arc, if Cantwell was the perfect bridge with Cosmic to grounded a great setup for Duggan. I don't know why Jack Kirby, or I don't know how Jack Kirby kept up with so many Stan Lee books back in the day, and that was without splash pages to check with 1 pictures for 2 pages. I agree with Nate. My favorite Marvel book of the week, this Void Rivals and Stuff of Nightmares were my top 3. My turkeys were Power Girls and Death of the Venomverse. Joe, I'm still bummed that Nick Klein is already taking a break in Hulk. God damn. But the guy that picked it up was not bad. I mean, it's not Nick Klein, but it was I remember us both going like, hey, this is not bad art. So there are times when an artist comes in that does their best. And I think that's one example of that. Yep. All right, real quick, we got Jean Grey, Fall of X, issue number 2. You didn't even read it?
I couldn't do it. You put Cyclops on the cover and it makes me 50% less likely to read it.
Okay, so we'll just run through it really quick. So Jean is clearly going through her past events and trying to see if she could do anything different and find something that would help in her, I guess, her resurrection. But in this one, we get her not basically sacrificing herself when they're crashing down to Earth. And instead, Wolverine becomes enveloped with the Phoenix Force, and he goes fucking ape shit. And he goes after the dudes in Canada that turned him into what he is. So Jean and Scott go and try to find him. They find him, and he is laid waste to the entire facility, to the point where he's essentially going to blow himself up. Like, he has to kill everything. And so Jean tries, or I think she's able to pull it out of him, the Phoenix Force. Mm-hmm. And before she's able to do it, Scott jumps in front of it. Oh, yeah, because she wanted, I think she was like, Wolverine was like, you need to kill me. If you want to get rid of this, you need to kill me. And Scott was like, okay. He's boom, just like fucking went for it. I was like, Nate would fucking love to hate this part. And so when he
knows,
does it,
he knows what's going to happen. Pretty
Right,
soon
right.
After this.
right. So when he does that, the Phoenix Force jumps into Scott, and Scott is able to take off his visor and he's able to see Jean with his eyes completely open, but he's like, the same thing has to happen here. You have to kill me. And Jean's like, no, I don't want to. And like mid-sentence, Wolverine's like, "Dah!" like that, and just like stabs through his head, and dude dies. Then the Phoenix Force goes back into Wolverine, and then Wolverine explodes. He just kills himself. And so Jean is sitting there going like, fuck. Like she lost 2 men that she clearly loved, and they're gone. And so present Jean is like, well, that doesn't work. Let's move on to the next one. So then she moves on to, we're heading towards Madeline Pryor. So we're just kind of going through through these events. And at some point we're going to get the sequence to finding some key to get back into the real world of the living, I think. But it was I will say this. I did not like the art. I think the art it didn't hit for me.
I was going through it and I was like, that's pretty good.
It's all right. It's not, I've seen better, but
I think you're wrong on this one.
nah, I think I'm right. But anyway, there was an oh shit moment, like when Scott did, the first stab in the back, and then Wolverine did the stab in the face. Like, I was like, damn, that's brutal as shit. And then they both like basically end up dying. So, yeah, that's what it was.
I actually kind of regret not reading that one.
Oh man, see what happens. Jaden, I think they are doing it in color for the people who won't watch it. Oh, Werewolf for Night. Yeah, I still haven't watched it. He's making Bruce Banner look like a meth head, though. Jean Grey was still beautiful covers though. Till Shield comes back, gets sensational boys. Dude, I cannot wait. It's so close. We're so close. Patty, I would have forced to watch them. Sounds like a what if series. It kind of is a what if. Yeah.
It literally is a what if series that they are somehow really just shoving in that it's going to fit. I agree.
With
Fall of X. I think that's ludicrous that they're trying to make it fit, but
that's what they're going to do.
Let's see what happens once they do it. Maybe I'll.
Well, let me say this. This is better than Iceman. Like, I'm not reading Iceman, or Children of the Vault. Like, I will say that. All right, next up we have Marvel Unleashed issue number 2.
That's Jim.
This is my pick of the week. This is my pick of the week. This book does everything for me. Like what comics are, what makes them fun. And guys, the artwork in this fucking book is so damn good. Like that first page with Blackheart looking over his armies in the 10th ring of hell. That looks so fucking metal. Like, I don't know, man. I did not expect this book. Jaden, Iceman is pure ass. Anyway, he's getting ass. Like, that's all he's doing in that book. I don't know, man. This book was fucking awesome. The pacing of the book, the writing of, just the dialogue, how it flows, worked perfectly. The artwork is phenomenal, and it's about fucking animals. It's about not fucking animals. It's dude. Yeah,
this
look,
is so amazing.
Throg
I'm just
kills.
trying to make people forget that you just said fucking.
Yeah, this book is about Marvel animals. Like, it's about the pets, and it's metal as shit. Like this book, it is so fucking good, and I love D-Dog. I think she's amazing. I love that she keeps on trying to be a hero and kind of fucks up, but they still figure out a way to fix it. But the fact that you've got this group of animals fighting Blackheart, and you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. The book doesn't make sense, but it's amazing. I just think it's a silly goose time, but there are some epic splash pages. Throg comes in and completely steals the show. But my sleeper pick of this book has to be Bats. Yeah. When he shows up and he's just giving his spiel, and he's like, and I'm Bats, by the way. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, yeah, it just felt good. Even Strange is like, where are you going? He's like, Steve, just fuck off. Go eat some popcorn. I'm gonna go save the world.
Yeah.
So, to me, pick of the week, not even close. And there's another book on this list that I really enjoyed and almost picked it. But if this book hadn't been it would have been this. But this was it. This was the book.
Oh, so that frog's got titty plates.
He does have titty plates. He only has 4 though instead of 6.
But yeah, see, 4's the limit. I can deal with 4.
You can deal with 4.
No, I was so excited about Throg. We picked up the Throg variant.
Nice.
So that was mine.
Yeah, this book's amazing.
Yeah, Kyle Stark. So Joe said this comic is breaking all the rules. It shouldn't be this darn good. And the fact that I feel like Kyle Starks has 2 books, both in Marvel and DC, that have made us all say the same thing, is like, we got to pay attention to this guy. This guy's doing some shit. Like he's on it. So I'm very eager for whatever he's got coming next. Whatever it is, I'm just gonna buy it.
You know what? We're gonna do this. I'm gonna need your help because you're more on our Twitter X account, whatever the fuck they call it. Let's reach out to Starks, and let's see if we can get him on the show. Let's just try. Everybody if you're on Twitter, I'm not calling it X. If you're on Twitter, please reach out to him. We're all gonna bombard him and be like, hey, we really, Two Fat Guys Pullus loves your shit. We would love for you to go on the show. Please go do their show. We'll reach out to him. I want to get him on the show, and I want to talk to him about this because I think.
See how many things I got to read to have caught up. Okay, not too much.
No, you get it. You're good. Because I just think, like you said, I think Joe did it perfectly. This book breaks all the rules and has no reason to be this good. It's fucking awesome, and it gives me this and Peacemaker right now give me Daniel Warren Jansen vibes hardcore. Like, it just feels like we've got another comic book writer who is in that same vein that just gets us pumped. Like, oh, you don't like wrestling? Well, you will now. Like that same kind of shit. So I would love to get him on the show. Kyle Starks is great, but I feel his type is casted away. I wonder if he can do a long, sprawling story. Clip this into shorts. Yeah, we will get that done. We will get him on for sure. Anyway, that's my pick of the week.
Yes, Chips. Pick of the week.
Sick it.
Nice.
All right, next up we have Miss Marvel, the New Mutants, or the New Mutant issue number 2, and we have a Tony Stark, Emma Frost sighting. So we get a little bit of that banter there, where it shows kind of their relationship. Overall, I liked the issue. I really liked the Sentinel drones turning into one massive Sentinel drone. I thought that was pretty kick-ass. I like the will they, won't they slice of life between Miss Marvel and I forget his name. Her not roommate, best friend.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I just think it's funny.
Bernard?
Maybe it's Bernard, yeah.
Bruno,
yeah. I like that. I think that's cool. I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't have anything bad to say about the book. I think it's fun. I like it. My only worry is that we're building up this idea of her being a mutant, and then because this is what, a 6-issue mini.
I think it's just 4 actually.
Or 4. My worry is 4 issues in, and it's gonna be like, never mind. We're not gonna talk about that. And we're gonna switch it again because we're laying down a foundation here. So let's just stick to it, right? And maybe they won't, right? With the Marvels coming out soon, and we're gonna probably play into more of the fact that she's a mutant. Maybe that won't be the case.
See, I feel that that's the reason why she has a 4 is because she's gonna get another series reboot for the movie.
But a series reboot that just washes away the continuity that we're building here, or that we're just going to continue to move forward and we're just renaming it for Marvel's sake.
I don't know that it'll be a continuation of this story, but it's not like she won't be a mutant. Like, I doubt it'll be the same creative team and stuff. I bet it'll probably be a new creative team.
Oh, for sure. Joe, I read the issue 1 so far, but it still feels like a kiddish Miss Marvel book. I was expecting something big due to them breaking their character down and rebuilding it, but feels like same old Miss Marvel. it might be that they just don't know what to do with the character. But I hope my hope is that this 4-issue mini is somewhat of a solid foundation to build upon, and we can get a decently long Miss Marvel book ongoing. You know, we'll just have to wait and see. But I enjoyed it. I did not have an issue with it. I thought it was fun.
I like the Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, Surfer. That's pretty cool. That's Donny Cates thing right there. That is a definite Donny Cates weird thing right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to DC, and we've got Dawn of DC Superman Action Comics issue number 1057, Revenge of the Demon Part 1. I totally agree with this. I totally agree with you. I would say that's my DC pick of the week too.
Yeah, I mean, so the first 3 pages alone are enough to get this to me to be a pick of the week. You know, what we've been writing Superman stories for 80 years. Nothing's new anymore. Everything's been redone. But I think it's been a while since we have just done a blatantly obvious example of like what makes Superman.
Right.
And the way that they opened this book with Superman just chilling with a builder having lunch, you know, the guy's like a reformed criminal, and Superman's literally like checking in on him and asking about his family and like doing all this stuff, and the guy's finally like, you know, you don't have to check up on me, man. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna go back and bad things. He's like, yeah, I just like eating lunch with my friends. Like, that shit's just strong. It's, to me, it's really strong Superman vibes. Like what he is all about. Because you know, War World, I think, has a little bit of the core elements. Like, he's fighting for the immigrant. He's fighting for the underprivileged. He's, you know, but like, it was metaphor, and it was deep, and it was like on the surface, it was just Superman fighting aliens and beating shit up, right? This is just like core slice of life, person to person, nothing to do with being a superhero, sort of a thing. I really like that.
Yeah.
Also, I've been very intrigued with this group,
Blue Earth or something like that.
The Blue Earthers or whatever. Since he introduced it like 6 issues ago, and I know we've kind of touched on it, but we haven't done a ton with it. I think Philip Kennedy Johnson provides a really unique perspective on ideas or ideals that can be a little bit like borderline, that are military induced or terrorist group or ethical quandaries, whether it's is this ethical or is it not. It's a theme that shows up a lot in his work, obviously probably from his experience being in the military and stuff, but I think that, like, if you were to hand me a book and say, hey, this comic is written by Jarhead, like a guy that's like a lifelong military dude, I'd be like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know about that. And I just love like his perspective that he's able to give. That's not what you would expect at all. And it's not just, I mean, I would say it's pretty black and white that this is a terrorist organization, but like, it just shows you like how manipulative these things can be. And it just makes a very, very strong life tie-in to the things that people are going through in America.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. It was a solid issue. Did not even look at the last two, the fucking back. Like, I am so sick of the backups. I'm just tired of it, man. I don't. It really upsets me that I'm paying an extra X amount of dollars for it because I'm not gonna fucking read it. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Like, it's so infuriating to me.
I get that, and I think that this one we get 2, and it's still just $1 more. And like other books, we're getting just 1, and it's still $1 more. However, I don't really think that adds more value because one of the stories I'm always skipping.
Right.
I will say that the second backup in this one is technically it occurs after it's Connor.
Right.
It occurs after he comes back from his mini. And I think that it shows a direction that they're probably going to be moving with him as a character. If this little side story continues, I definitely think it's worth a read before you pack this issue away. It's only 5 or 6 pages. It will take you 2 or 3 minutes to read, but I think it has value. I think it has enough value to read. And for the most part, the Action Comics has done a really good job of filling in a little bit of like almost acting like as a glue to spread that fits in this whole overarching massive Superman story that we're telling.
Yeah. Which I like, and we'll talk about it more when we get to our next book, which I think might be the next one. Ah, yes, Detective Comics.
Wait, what?
What?
You didn't put this on there?
No,
dude,
you were there. You were there when we did the video.
Yeah. Well, hold on before you go there.
Okay, go ahead.
At least for a second. Hold on. Let's catch up with Jeff.
Yeah.
Is the actress? Is this the series the actress is working on? Talking about Miss Marvel? Yes, it is.
Oh yeah. It's good.
Joe says she needs to be given the chance, like Miles Morales. I agree. Don't like this cover. It would turn me off this book. Thought it was what the material was like.
It's not.
I think that's the Action, and yeah, I get that. It's a weird like 1991 mashup sort of cover. Joe says, since y'all been reading comics, what's the biggest learning so far? For me, it's that creative teams I love. Wish they cut the backup reads out of the books unless it serves a purpose on what we are currently. Yeah, I do wish they would tie in a little bit. For me, it's a scale. They're charging us so much for barely one issue of content backup. Okay, so since y'all been reading comics, what's the biggest learning experience that you've got? So,
for me, it's you don't have to pick up every issue when it comes to an event. You don't need to pick up every tie-in. You don't need to pick up every, even though they're like, if you want to know every, no. And I think we both, we were so new to it at the beginning that like any event that we were in, we were like, I'm buying it all. We're doing it all. And then we did that with X-Men too. And now we've learned that you don't need all of it, and I don't think that's because of a wallet thing. I really don't. Like if it was, we'd say it, right? But to me is just like you're saying with these tie-ins, these little mini stories at the back end of DC books. Does it really matter? I mean, I think when we got into was it Devil's Reign? I think it was it wasn't Devil's Reign, but Devil's Reign was I think the most recent one for me. Where it was just like I just don't need to pick up. I don't need to pick up all these things. But where it was really apparent was the event that you didn't even do, which was Heroes Reborn. That was a total waste of time when it came to, and I know this is a negative thing, but I think it's something that I've learned. It's something, essentially that you don't need to pick up every fucking tie-in that comes in a massive event for either Marvel or DC. It's just not necessary. It's definitely not necessary with DC. Oh my God. Like shit. Sometimes the event with DC doesn't matter outside of you could literally make one comic from start to finish with what's happening and how it's going to unfold. And then that's it. And you'd be totally caught up and you'd be fine. But instead you're buying 6 different event comics, 12 different tie-ins and then tie-ins to the tie-in. Like you don't have to do it. Don't feel pressured to do it. Don't get caught up in the sale of it. The only way you pick it up is if you genuinely like whoever's writing it and it's dealing with characters that you love. If that's not the case, don't do it. Just don't do it because it is not worth it. Like that is, and I know that sounds very cynical of me and I'm kind of like turning one of these grumpy guys on one of these other YouTube pages, but I think that, to be honest, I think that's what it is. It's like, if I've learned anything, it is you do not have to buy everything when it comes to a big sprawling event. You don't even have to do the events if you don't want to. Don't do them. You won't miss anything.
I know it's going to seem like a cop-out, but I'm going to totally tack on there because I think for me, it took me forever to learn this lesson. 2 years, I would probably say, for it to finally sink in. I mean, I owned all 61 issues of Empire and its tie-ins.
Yeah.
There's some L's. There's some big L's.
Major L's. Yeah.
And I still look back fondly on that series.
Yeah.
But there's some losses there. Shoot, that series is what introduced me to Philip Kennedy Johnson. But like, anyway, I would definitely say that. It's a big one. It's a really big one.
Yep. Let's see here. Joe, I wish they cut the backup. Okay, we got that part. For me, it's a scam. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay, this one. When I see events, I also see promotion products for other characters and other creators to show off. So maybe you would continue after the event. 100%. And I think there's a fine balance, right? But I think we definitely got fatigue after about 2 years. We were kind of like, we just can't do this anymore. You know, and for me, it started with DC rather than Marvel. Like, when I got into, I think it happened with Death Metal. When I got into Death Metal and I read it, and I was like, this is fucking kick-ass. It ended, and it was like, everything is going to be different. And then we got into what was going to be, what was it? It was supposed to be G5, but then it was, I don't even remember, because it's already gone. It lasted 6 months, and then they switched it again. And that showed me, like, just the lack of attention to what they were doing and what really mattered. It doesn't, right? And so that, I think, was the tipping point for me. And then we got into Marvel and we did Heroes Reborn. I was just like, all right, this is nope. And that luckily happened just in time before, I think, the Venom stuff with King in Black, where it was like, you don't need to read every King in Black thing. Shit, when the Namor, like, when it got announced that King in Black was coming out and it was like, oh, and there's a tie-in with Namor, you're like, and then I read issue 1 and I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. It is not a tie-in. It's not. Yeah. It's just slapped on there. So you just have to be patient, and you have to be willing to take your time and be aware and smart with what you're going to spend when it comes to events. I think that's the biggest thing you can. Like, I'm not doing Gang War. Like, I know you are, but I'm just not going to do it. And
I'm still on the fence on it. So
okay, there you go.
Also, Joe asked how much is that Empire worth if you sold it. I did sell it, and it was sold in a big lot, but it was probably worth about $130. So it was worth about probably $1.50 to $2 per issue, but there is one key in there, which I actually had 3 copies of. So it was the Captain Marvel. One of the Captain Marvel issues was the first appearance of
her sister.
Her sister. Yeah, I can't remember her name, but Jor-El or something like that. But I was so enthralled with that character that I bought 2 copies of the first print, and then I bought the second print and I bought the third print. So when I sold it to him, I sold him the first, second, and third, and just kept one first.
One first. Joan says, but King in Black Thunderbolts was fantastic. That's one where it was fun because it was
was really good.
It was like a Suicide Squad kind of.
It was. That one was really, really good.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Joe said that some of the Devil's Reign stuff there was some bad Devil's Reign, but there was good. The Moon Knight Devil's Reign was really good. I really liked that one. And I'm having a really hard time remembering all of them.
Calvin, events have become so disappointing. I remember being so excited for them when I was younger. Now they don't mean anything, or there's so many that you can't get excited. It's overwhelming. I 100% agree. Like, make comic book events great again, right? Like, let's just make them worth something, make them mean something, and spread them out, for God's sakes. Like,
spread those cheeks, man.
Right? Just spread them cheeks. Anyway, let's get to Detective Comics.
No.
Why?
More tie-in. I wanted to mention this. No, you skipped it like a fool.
No, I didn't. You did not have it. When I said, do we have all the books in for New Comic Book Day? You said, yep.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the reason why I want to point this out. So basically this book shows you Red Hood's involvement. Or not Red. What is it? Yeah, Red Hood's involvement.
Yeah, Red Hood.
Just call him Jason.
Jason.
His involvement in helping develop some of the criminals with Selena. There are 2 particular guys who are ex Scarecrow guys
Mm.
that he's training, and dude is being harsh on these guys. Like he is being like whatever Red Hood, like this is one of the harshest examples I've seen of Red Hood while he's trying to be good.
Right.
And one of these guys is having he had such a prolonged exposure to fear toxin that he has reoccurring nightmares that are like debilitating to him, and then the nightmares, he starts seeing the things in real life, and he's so hard on this guy that the guy actually quits Selena's thing and leaves. And they're like, hey, we got a problem. Like, he knows what we're doing. Like, he could go back to Scarecrow, or he could do something. Like, we got to go find him. And the partner that was training with him is like, yeah, hey, we got to go find him. Where is he? So they go to track him down, and they find him in his apartment. And the dude has been partially like crucified onto the wall.
No.
With his guts strewn out. And he's with Stephanie, who's a spoiler, and she's like, yo, this is bad. Like, this is bad. Like, if Batman finds out about this, we're fucked. So I just thought that was a really interesting development in the story, because I think that takes things to a different level to prove, kind of like almost push things more towards Batman's side of things.
Okay.
Things going wrong. That's why I thought it was important. I think that will probably come up in the main title.
Interesting.
Batman or Catwoman.
Okay. Well, to get to Detective Comics, you talked about. I lost the point because we talked about so many other things, but you're talking about. Well, no. This is what it was. You were talking about Action Comics and how like everything Superman right now is just on fire. It's cohesive, even though it's kind of individual in its identity as well, but it just feels cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be. That's not the same when it comes to Batman. Chip Zdarsky and Teeny Howard are doing really good things with their little mini event here. Mm-hmm. And it really pains me to say this, but I am done with Detective Comics in Ram V. Like, I'm just done. Like, it's too slow.
Is that a hate crime?
Shut up. It's too slow. And then you were telling me the other day, we were at the convention and we were talking about it, and I was telling you how I felt about it. And you're like, well, you do know that this is a 2-part break before we get back into our main story. And this is not directed to you. I'm just saying this. Motherfucker, we just went on break, right? We just went on break because of Night Terrors. So what you're telling me is we're on break from our first family of Gotham for Night Terrors. We come off the break, the hiatus, to another break between an already elongated, drawn out, I don't know how else I can say it, story. I'm done. I got 4 pages in, and we were doing this like, Bruce, you're a kid, and no, I'm done. I'm done. When we first got into Detective Comics, right, when we were like, you know what, we're going to do DC. And it was Tamaki, right? Tamaki was writing it. Dan Mora was on the art. And it was
what a time for Detective
right?
Comics.
Your face and the way you just reacted. Detective Comics is not that right now. Detective Comics doesn't feel like a detective comic book. It doesn't feel like Tamaki and Dan Mora, they were doing a mystery and we had to solve it. Someone died in his neighborhood. Let's go find out. Right now, we're hallucinating about being a goddamn child and still dealing with the death of his parents. What the fuck are we doing? I'm sorry. I'm fucking heated. But the reason why I'm upset is because I feel so bad. I'm going to stop. I'm getting into the point where it's not productive because I want to give Ram V his due, and I think he's an excellent writer. I think he's a phenomenal writer. But this is just not doing it for me. And it's incredibly frustrating because I've put in so much money with Detective Comics. Like, I have a lot of Detective Comics, and I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's boring.
All right. And I want to say that before I give my 2 cents, I don't discredit any of that. I know I like to give you a hard time when you get heated. I'm not gonna say any of the things that you said are wrong because I think it's a very, very valid viewpoint. However, I will still be sticking with the book. So this issue continues to do some of the things that you're. It continues to be very abstract. It continues to be slow. However, this particular issue appealed to other things that are non-Batman related that I enjoy. I enjoy horror aspects. Clearly, we've been through this. I enjoy horror stuff. I especially like Batman when Batman is not Batman. He's been possessed by something or something is controlling him. Or so. I find that interesting because Batman most of the time is just sort of there. Like as a character, he's just sort of like, I know you're the same punch, and I love Gotham, but you make Gotham worse. It's all the same.
Right. Yeah.
This he is being possessed by the Osmer demon, and like we get so many cool, amazing horror panels. It's gonna be really hard to see. We might not even be, but like seeing the cape like billow behind him as he stalks this weird deserted like desert shit in his mind. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm still very frustrated by a lot of things you said. Frustrated by this. I'm frustrated by how abstract the storytelling can be. How very much it's like just riddled with metaphor. However, I did also like that the way that we're tying in a little bit of continuity. One of the biggest things that I think, who said it? Joe said Ron V is better at independent comics. I don't know why. I think I know why. I think it is because Ron V is really good at telling a story where nothing else matters, only what he's telling you and giving. And you can never do that with Marvel DC comics, with superhero comics. There's 100 years of history that you have to think about when you're creating these comics. And I think genuinely he just said, I'm going to write a story that I want to write with Batman as the start, and then as I go, I'll try my best to fill in things that make a superhero. But I'm not super worried about it feeling like a superhero or a Batman comic or making a lot of sense. This is a big, giant, huge, flowing opera, and you're gonna have to just trust me for 20 plus issues. And I think for people like you that are saying, no, I'm not gonna do it, I think it's a totally valid thing. I, for some reason, am suckered into it. Will totally, especially because after the next issue, we start that intermediate arc, which is a 5-issue arc of like this like weird cosmic Western style thing. I think what it is he's going to be fully fallen into the trance hypnosis. What is like being taken over by this Osmer thing that we're essentially going to have like a 5 arc version. And I think when we come out of that, there could be a really big payoff for his character. It's at least what I'm hoping for. I can't fault anyone for being off this book. And I think this is a good example of like sometimes you shoot your shot and fucking
Swamp Bat says decided. I love Ram V, but since this detective run has been coming out, I've only heard about how slow it is. Decided a while ago. Wait for the trade. Ram V killed Detective Comics for me. I love Detective Comics before he took over. If he takes over Hulk, I will scream. Yeah. And then John says defective comics. Yeah. But you don't understand. His parents were killed right in front of him as he was a child. Joe, who would be a good fit to replace Ram V on Detective Comics? For me, I would love to see Christopher Cantwell or get his hands on it. Cantwell is so underrated. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Hell, or Dan Waiter's backup, I heard, is way better than the main story. I would love to see Cantwell, and I wouldn't mind seeing McKay either. Even though I don't think that would happen, but McKay would be dope too, just with his command over Moon Knight right now. You know what I mean? Just have to wait and see. But that'd be dope. That'd be really cool. All right, let's move
What was
on.
the last part? I didn't hear the last part.
Basically, who would replace? Who would you want to replace? And someone said Cantwell, and I said Cantwell or McKay. I think would be dope.
Well, you're not getting, those guys are pretty locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in. Solid. What about Donnie?
I would love Donnie.
You know what I'm saying?
Detective Comics book. But honestly, this sounds silly, but you know who I would love on a Detective Comics book right now?
Mm-hmm.
I would love one of the first gen X girls that have left Marvel or are doing more DC stuff. Teenie Howard or Leia Williams.
Ooh, Leia Williams. Leia Williams.
What's her name? Vita Ayala. Their name.
Ooh,
Vita Ayala. I think one
God.
of those three on the book. Money. And you know why? Because they would. I think they'd go right back to the start of Tamaki's run and say this slice of life shit with Bruce without his money. And all that.
Yes.
With the money, and I think they would pick that up and run.
Yes.
And when was
Kelly
the last?
Thompson. Oh, fuck off! Come on.
Yes.
Stop it, guys. You're just all you're doing is cementing. You're cementing that I'm not going to read this anymore.
All I know is that I haven't had a good, solid detective comics book in like 2 years, and the last time it was written by a woman was when it was good. So let's get another.
I agree. All right, Green Arrow issue number 4. It was all right. It was fine. It was good. I had fun. It was good. I mean, still a good time, right? Like, there's clearly something big going on here, and there's part of me that understands some of it, and there's part of me that's just like, I'm just not that versed in Green Arrow to really understand the full ramifications of what's going on. But that does not deter me from the book. I have a little bit of knowledge of Parallax and when he was possessing Hal Jordan, so but I never knew like that's how he went out. I didn't know that Green Arrow was involved in getting Hal out of that. So like that was all new to me. Mm-hmm. But overall, I'm still digging this run. I'm still liking how fucking weird it is. And that's a big deal when it comes to a character that I could give two shits about. Like, you know how Nate goes on here and he's like, I would absolutely never read a book about blah blah blah, but because blah 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 is writing it, I'm gonna read it. Like that's kind of how I am with this right now.
Yeah. One thing I like about this run is it reminds me. You haven't read Hickman's Avengers, have you, or any of it? So this reminds me of the run, the arc in Hickman's Avengers, where the team goes on that weird space-time journey, and then they one by one fall off until Cap is at the end, and he's like fighting the Kings and shit. It reminds me a lot of that. So I have a good, memory in my head when I'm reading this book.
Right.
But yeah, I think this book's kind of just like a silly goose time. I don't think that it's like, I don't like see it like, oh fuck yeah, this is it. But like I don't like hesitate or like put it to the bottom of the pile. What I do like is I think DC has shown that they have some faith in this book and Joshua Williamson, because I believe this has been expanded. It's not a 6-issue, it's now a 12-issue max.
All right, cool.
And so I think he basically was like, hey, here's my story. I can end it at 6, but I've got 12 to finish what I want to do, and I think they were like, all right, let's do it. Because at no point was this ever released as showing you that it was a mini. It was because like, dude, look at Doom Patrol, right? Like it always has said 1 of 6, 1 of 7, whatever. It's always said that, but this has never said that up at the top. I just realized I was pointing at the show, but
yeah.
So that they were little tricksters with this. They didn't want you to know it was, which I think was.
Joe says, who's winning Dawn of DC so far? Mark Waid or so Wade's doing he's doing
Shazam and World's Finest.
World's Finest. I'd say Williamson because his Superman run is just mint, and I wouldn't have said that when he was doing his stupid Crisis on Infinity. I fucking hated that, but his Superman run has been on fucking point. So I would say, even though Mark Waid is doing a great job with World's Finest, he's doing an amazing job with that. I'd say Williamson is doing a better job right now with Dawn of DC.
Me too, especially with his recent edition of that first issue. To me was good. So has me excited for that line. So yeah, with those 3 titles, it honestly I didn't read. Williamson is new for me. I know he's kind of an old hat DC, but I never read any of his Flash run. And so my first introduction to him was his kind of coordinating Infinite Frontier and Night Terrors and stuff. And so I was a little bit, I don't know. But then he started up with, he did write Robin, which I was like, okay, this is really good. And Superman and Batman. I think he's really good at one-on-one stories. Don't give him another event. I don't ever want to see another event.
No, please God, no. That was ugh. All right, real quickly, Unstoppable Dune Patrol issue number 6. It feels like we're rushing to the end on this. It really feels like we're, and it sucks because I really liked this book and I want more Doom Patrol, but it definitely feels like we're like, okay, I've told what I wanted to tell, and now we're just rushing to the end. And that's kind of unfortunate. So, they're doing some training and then they just get bombarded by other villains, metahumans. And then we've got our, this, I think it's this like general Nazi dude who ends up becoming more of an undead, at the end of it becoming like the super villain undead thing. I mean, it's got all the things, all the makings for being just a silly goose time and being DC's mutant book, which it is. But for some reason, it felt a little rushed, and I don't like that. So that makes me feel like 7 is going to be like, zoop, and hopefully I'm wrong, and 7 ends, and it's like, and the Doom Patrol will be back, and we will get another, 6 or 7 issue mini. But overall, I was it was kind of disappointing how quickly the book read, and how quickly like things moved, and how quickly it just amped up to 11 very fast, without really any build up. Like we were like starting to get a semblance of what we were doing, and then it just took the fuck off. And sometimes you can do that in books and it works, but in this one for me, it just didn't. So
weird. I did not feel that way at all.
Oh, well, that's how I felt.
Did not feel that way at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we just called Green Arrow the Silly Goose book, but this is the Silly Goose book.
Yeah, it's Silly Goose for sure.
I love the art in this book too. I think it just fits.
It fits
the tone perfectly. I love sometimes I really hate getting bombarded with characters I don't know, but when the stakes are really low and it's almost like you don't need to, and we get introduced to characters in funny ways, like, like one character's like fighting someone and she goes, "No, damn it, you got fire hands!" Like, what the hell? Like, all of these unexpected powers from people I don't know. I thought that was a lot of fun. This series, which I didn't even jump on until you were on issue 3. I didn't read the first 2 with you.
Yeah.
This has made me immediately go, I need to go back and read some classic
yeah, I agree.
Doom Patrol. I'm trying to decide how far back I want. There's a Grant Morrison run he's super popular for, but that's like 80s.
Ooh.
Grant Morrison, super heady, very like hardcore. So I don't know. Let's see.
Got any extra time?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm just
loads of time,
drowning in extra time.
So much time. How about Tom Taylor? I think we've said it before. I think his Tom Taylor and his, he's done. But the thing is, his Nightwing run is perfect. It's perfect, but it's outlived like 3 transitional phases of DC. So I don't think you can really say like he's winning Dawn of DC, right? Like,
I don't think that's what he was. I think he was saying that for. Maybe that's what you're saying. I thought he was saying that to like.
Detective Comics. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna say that's more of like, is he winning Dawn? And I'd say, well, he's winning DC in general because everything that he's writing is outlasting every fucking little mini reboot and omniversal reset. Like it just stays consistent. So I think he's just kind of above it. Anyway, Doom Patrol to me tried to be X-Men so bad, or that they forgot to tell a good story. I know Doom Patrol was first. It deserves more attention, I think. I think that's the big thing. I think it just deserves more than what it's getting right now.
John, I have not read Dark Ride, but I have noticed it many times. And honestly, every suggestion you've given me has been perfection. So if you're telling me to read it,
Oh, hey.
Tell me outright, and I'll read it.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's the wrong button. All right, our last book of the night, Void Rivals, issue number 4 from Robert Kirkman. Another curveball, maybe not that quick of a curveball, not a very fast curveball, but we have another curveball, right? So at the end of issue 3, we get a double cross. The female pilot basically captures the other pilot and takes him to her homeworld for God knows what, right? And so we get the inner workings here and the political workings of actually both planets. And I will say I enjoyed reading it. As I was reading it, kind of called the ending. I'm not upset about it, but that usually doesn't happen a lot when it comes to reading comics. I think it's only happened a couple times for me, but you know, I'm still digging the shit out of this. I think it's original, it's fun, and to see, you know, I don't, to be honest, even though I kind of saw the ending of this issue coming, I don't know where we're going. I'll tell you that right now. Like, what's the end game? No fucking clue. Like, not a clue. The only thing that seems kind of out of place, and this is going to be weird for me to say this, is the Transformer stuff. You know, we get, I think it's 2 pages, maybe 3 pages of Transformer stuff in this book. And it's kind of like, just kind of thrown in there. Like, it's just, it almost has nothing to do with the story outside of like, hey, remember this guy showed up and it was just kind of an Easter egg. It kind of happens again. And I'm not saying it's bad, but why was that in the book?
I don't think it's supposed to be immediately apparent.
I'm sure that's not the case, but everything else feels very like this is the direction we should be going, right? And that part, don't get me wrong, I like seeing Shockwave. When I saw it, I was like, oh, fucking Shockwave, right? And like him explaining why everybody's, that's the big purple guy that you see that's telling the bounty hunter to fuck off. I don't want to see that other Transformer.
Why does he call himself Cybertron? I know nothing about Transformers. What is a Cybertron?
Guys.
I thought that was a name.
What is a Cybertron? Guys, I think
I'm not embarrassed that I don't know your silly kids.
Now,
toys,
unfortunately, I don't think it'll be possible. I'm talking directly to you, chat, because I'm just ignoring this guy above me. Okay. Listen, unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to say, Nate, you need to go back and watch, because he would literally melt in his room. Just, like he would cringe. He would just fucking just explode, right? Cybertron. This is a Transformers book. Cybertron is the planet that the Autobots and Decepticons are from.
Oh, okay. That's why. That makes sense.
His name,
I thought his name was...
No. His name
is... bring it to Cybertron. That makes perfect sense. That's how he works.
His name is Shockwave.
What he should have said was, you dare bring this
Nate, everybody that's reading...
to the planet Cybertron.
Well, everybody that's reading the book outside of you...
Nope.
Knows what that is.
Nope.
Yup.
Nope.
Anyway,
I know you think that your silly action figure story is that popular.
The fuck up! It is
absolutely. It's not. It's literally not. It's
Go
not.
ahead. No, tell me your whatever. Tell me how you felt about this book while I do some research.
I will tell you. I will answer Joe's question, and because Joe's question is, in your opinion, is Void Rivals that good on its own, or is it propped up on hype due to the other books? And I will say that I think that it is good on its own because, as you can see clearly here, couldn't give a fuck about its tie-in.
Couldn't give a fuck
at all. The only reason why I'm even picking up there was one creator in the whole goddamn world that could get me to pick up a Transformers book, and it is Daniel Warren Johnson, and they put the fucker on the book. That's the only reason. And even with that, it is a issue by issue pickup for me. That is not a guaranteed ongoing. I had a good enough time with the Transformers movies when I was 14 years old, and everything was like bang, 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 and Megan Fox was a fucking fox on screen. Don't give a shit about Transformers at all in any capacity.
Dude, yeah,
And
just
so,
man.
I think that all of the dramatics aside, I do genuinely think Void Rivals stands up on its own.
Agreed.
It very much gives me the vibes that I felt at the beginning of
Vibe check.
what's the Al Ewing book? We only find them when they're dead.
Yeah.
It gave me the vibes of the first arc of that, and I think it's doing a better job of creating a nice, expansive. So
I haven't even
I totally think
looked.
the book is good on its own.
I haven't even looked at the covers for Transformers outside of January and Johnson, and fuck, am I going to
still
spend?
on.
Oh no! Oh shit, dude.
Ongoing Benjamin Percy Ghost Rider.
There's like 30. There's like 30 Transformers books, including a San Diego Comic-Con Daniel Warren Johnson variant.
Oh yeah, you're not getting that.
I'll find a way.
Anyway,
I'll find a way. 7. With
7 what?
soon to be 8 Transformer movies.
there's
actually-
10 Saw movies. You think that means anything?
Gives a
to
fuck
me?
about Saw, dude.
That's my
Transformers.
point. Is there's
no,
literally more
no,
Saw movies.
No, Transformers. No, dude, fuck off. Saw is the dumbest shit ever.
No,
Transformers.
you're not understanding. Telling me there's 7 Transformer movies.
Optimus Prime was the
Optimus
father
Prime
figure.
literally comes in a children's movie. I mean,
What's your point?
Which is literally confirmed by the creator. By the way.
All
Or
I'm
the-
saying
the-
is,
the sound guy. He was like, yeah, like the truck totally fucking diddles his dick. That's what you got to prop yourself on.
oh god,
I'm
I'll
sure it's
die on
great.
this hill. I'll die
I'm sure
on
it's
this
great.
hill, dude. Transformers is the shit, and I don't give a fuck. Like better than best, amazing thing ever.
See, here's the best part is I actually don't hate Transformers. I feel like I don't have any feeling or emotion towards them.
You have no feelings, yes.
Oh, I have lots of feelings, but trust me, I can show you the feelings. But
Okay.
no, I just Transformers doesn't mean a lot to me. I enjoyed the movies that I've seen.
Look.
I've not read any of the comics or seen the shows.
Look.
But the fact that you're putting it on what I think is an undeserved pedestal, especially exactly
How?
exactly. I don't have to prove.
I'm
that
not
because
saying.
it's-
Look, okay. Let me rephrase because I think there's a bit of misunderstanding. I don't think the movies. Don't get me wrong. The first movie, the first Transformer movie, and I'm not talking about Michael Bay's Megan Fox tits, Shia LaBeouf shouldn't have been in the movie. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the original 1980, was it 86? 1986. I wasn't even fucking born. Movie is the shit. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And Transformers in general was very original, and I just fucking love it. Transformers, don't, Calvin, stop it. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Look,
yep,
Stop
I need
it.
to know the answer. I need to know the answer.
if I okay, fuck.
What's the answer? Oh, Jaden, you have no idea the extent of how ridiculous his nerddom is. His wife almost killed him because of his little Transformers Build-A-Bots, like little figurines that you build yourself. Like
You
she
talking about
almost
Gundam?
hung him.
You talking about- you
Oh,
talking about Gundam?
Gundam. Sorry,
Come on,
it's all
you
the
get it
same
right.
goddamn thing.
Get that shit. No, it's not. Oh
Uh,
my god, I'm gonna fucking
Gundam is just Japanese Transformers.
Transformers are Japanese. They were originally Japanese.
I don't care.
See,
oh
you need
my
to watch.
God, I
See, you don't even
care.
know. You can't talk. You can't do this shit. Just stop it. Anyway,
The point is the point stands, and I think Jaden will agree that there is a certain level of nerd that you are, and there's a that I am. You are on a different level than me. It's not a wrong or right. It's not a better or worse.
so who's nerdier?
I'm just saying, who's nerdier?
Yeah.
I think you.
You
I
think
think
so?
because I think you're nerdier because you have a more well-rounded sphere of interests.
But you're like into fantasy shit too, though. Like you're into like Dungeons and Dragons shit, and
I mean, I like it. I've never even played it though. I'm 30.
no, but
years old.
I'm
I've never
saying
even
like,
played it.
but no, but I'm just saying like you're. I think we're equally nerdy in our own rights.
And this is just me. Chat can say if I'm wrong or right. I think when you start making characters out of toys that you build yourself, I think that's another level. I think that's just another step up. And I've never done anything
too, though.
like that.
You've got toys too, though.
I have toys on displays that were given to me or that I bought at a cheap price. I don't like have collectors' toys or anything like that. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I am just saying that I think there's another level of nerddom when you build toys.
Because it's fun. Did you ever do Legos?
It's good. I'm great. A little bit. I probably stopped Legos pretty early. Probably around like 10 or 11.
Oh, God. Indie Key's like, hey guys, and we're over here like, well, you're a fucking nerd. No, you're a nerd.
See, I'm not meaning it as an insult.
Oh God.
I'm totally comfortable with my nerddom, but
who is white and nerdy? Actually, that would be Nate. Nate is more white and nerdy than I am because I'm half Mexican. True. So,
and he doesn't mean that racially. He means literally.
I am literally half Hispanic Mexican. Yes. You wouldn't know it from my last name, but anyway.
That strong German last name.
We love both of your nerdiness.
Joe, shut up! Nobody called me out like that. Man.
Yeah, oh man, awesome. Oh shit, John finished the movies, dude. How you feel? Are you okay?
Oh shit. I still need to finish the show.
You need to finish the show so that we can get into the movies.
Like 17 episodes in, I watched like 3 yesterday. So.
No, I'm very proud of you. I will say this. I am very proud that you are committing yourself to Evangelion. I think you've elevated your nerdiness because of that.
Indeed, thanks for joining us. I'm glad to provide some amusement.
Yeah, right. Anyway, okay, Void Rivals. I think as issues go on, as they continue to, I think so.
That was from you asking if he's okay. I was like,
yeah, no, I know. I think as Void Rivals continues and we get into deeper and deeper into the series, I think we're going to start feeling more and more like, why are they here, right? And I can't wait for next week. Don't get me wrong. Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers comes out. I am almost positive, looking at next week's pulls. Oh shit, that's going to be hard because we've got... Well, you'll have to tune in Tuesday to find out what we're pulling next week. But just to tell you right now, there are at least 3 books, maybe even 4, that have potential pick of the week written all over them. So,
see, which is interesting because I have one that you definitely.
What do you have?
It's called... Here, no. They can have this preview. It's called "The Devil That Wears My Face."
Gross.
You should read it with me.
Who's writing it?
It's David Pepose. David Pepose, huh? Mad Cave. It's gonna be our first Mad Cave book.
Oh God.
It is. David Pepose wrote those last 2 issues of Fantastic Four. He wrote.
No, I'm not reading this.
He read that one of the Darth Vader stories. He wrote Savage Avengers. He's writing the current Moon Knight 2nd series. Wrote a few Punisher books. He's writing the new Punisher that's coming out.
Not doing it. Look at that shit.
Man.
You want me to go to sleep? Fuck that.
No, I don't want you to go to sleep. I want you to feel something, man.
I feel that Transformers is the best shit ever. I don't need to not go to sleep at night because
get some fucking fear in your life. It'll make you feel alive.
I'm just saying, fuck that cover. That is. I'm sorry, we're so profanity laced.
Sounds very hard.
Indy says, I'm still trying to get into Secret Invasion and Ahsoka. I haven't watched Secret Invasion. I know I need to get into Ahsoka because I talked to Nate about it at the Comic-Con, and he's like, what are you doing? Slasher is great. Any sort of Jason, Michael Myers, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre comics are great. You and Nate are match made in heaven.
Hold on.
What?
What's it called?
What?
Fuck. Hold on. Just hold the show. Don't say anything.
Calvin, don't do that to me.
What did I say? It said don't say anything. Where Monsters Lie. Indie Comics. If you have not read that, Where Monsters Lie. It's only a 4-issue mini by Kyle.
Oh yeah, you lost your shit.
Holy shit! Right now. I think it might be my mini series of the year. It's certainly got to be my horror selection of the year for sure.
And John, yes, Gods is going to be $9.99, and cross your fingers, right? Like, who knows?
For once, I'm so in. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be totally.
Are you pulling shit? Are you?
Exactly. I'm being dead fucking serious.
Are you being serious?
I'm being dead serious.
Why? Don't tell me Tuesday. Tuesday. Don't tell me Tuesday. We'll talk about it. Jaden says Jim super slow at the beginning of Ahsoka. Well, I don't know. I'll have to check it out because I've
only seen the first 2 episodes. And I really enjoyed it so far.
I've seen shit on TikTok and I'm like, why am I not watching this? Like, I gotta check it out. Yeah, Indy, I would agree with. I mean, if you're into those things, then yeah, what Nate said about that book. Yeah. Do we know anything about Gods? There have been 50 different teasers for it, and no, I still don't know what the fuck is going on in Gods. So hopefully,
well, yeah, you're not supposed to.
Not supposed to, but I'm worried, and I hope that Wednesday comes and I put something out on Twitter or on our Instagram saying, "Holy shit, go pick up Gods now." Like I really hope so because I want it to be good, especially if I'm spending $10. Like. We'll
Joe, the answer to that question is yes, but in the same way that if you change the word magic to any other word, the answer is still yes. Will it be a magic book? Yes. Will it be a science book? Yes. Will it be a God's book? Yes. Will it be a down-to-earth book? Yes. Will it be a war book? Yes. Is it going to be a fantasy book? Yes. Like it
will
literally
it change the scape of Marvel comic book universe? Supposed to.
You know what? Maybe I'm riding the high of finishing Hickman's Avengers and then starting Secret Wars a few days ago, which I've already read Secret Wars, but this is rereading it after all of Hickman's build-up.
Mm.
Oh man, that dude. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's.
I mean, there was a time. I mean, like not even a month ago, you were like off the train. Like you were off the Hickman train.
Like
we were in the shop, and you were.
He's an enigma. Sometimes I want to just throw him in the trash, and then sometimes I want to pull him out of the trash and dust him off and give him a shake. I'm sorry, man.
Will it book? Yes. Someone's been watching too much Good Mythical Morning.
Yes. John, I agree with you. Said he's an MCU apologist and hated Secret Invasion. I don't know if I would say I hate it because I didn't finish it, but I watched 5 episodes of it and I just was like, this ain't it.
I'm good. Yeah.
Ain't it.
Yeah, so he goes, I know Doctor Strange is in it, so I figured it would be magic. Thought Hickman was leaving Marvel. Now he's got the Spider-Man book. I cannot wait.
No, that was the whole thing. Is we always knew when he quit when he quit Mutant books, we knew that he was under contract. What is it? What is it? And then when we heard about Ultimate Universe and Gods, we thought maybe there was a restructuring of the contract and it was just going to be those 2. And then now, Spider-Man. So as far as I know, I think the Spider-Man shit's been in the works for a while.
Well, yeah, we got that. I think it was in the that Spider-Man or one of the Red, White, and Blood, or it was in one of those books. I don't remember what book it was. It might have been a Spider-Man like anniversary issue where he had that Spider book. No, it was like a Marvel 1000 or something.
Yes, now I know what you're talking about. Yes,
and that shit, like I remember it. I remember when I read it, I was like, dude, I would read the shit out of this. And you were like, there's no way Hickman would ever write something. He would never do a Spider. There it is. So
all
right,
one
guys.
of the like 1 or 2 times I've been wrong. So
we're gonna go ahead and wrap up issue 148 or episode 148 of Two Fat Guys Pull List. We appreciate every single one of you that showed up this week and watched this live. And we appreciate every single one of you that are watching this as a past episode. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated as we're so close to 950 subscribers. We're at 923 as of recording this video. So please, if you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We will be back here on Tuesday with a new Comic Book Day video, which is it's kind of light, but there's some bangers on it, so make sure to tune in for that. And then we'll be back here again this Sunday, where we'll talk about all those books and more, and hopefully make you guys laugh. So clearly, I think we achieved that goal and accomplished that mission this week. So we will see you guys later. As always, be kind to one another, and read more comics. Later, guys. Outro.
Joe, the only thing we're sticking with right now, at least for me,
Is what? Wait, what?
Ultimate Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man. Calvin Hickman seems antithetical to Spider-Man is exactly what. Because Spider-Man books suck.
They do.
Thank you, Patty. We'll see you later.
All right, we end the show by whispering to you bye. Bye, Jaden.
It's ASMR now.
See you later, Joe. Later, Calvin. Indy, if you're still here, bye.
Jane says read the book, Jim.
No, I'm not going to do it.
What book?
Wait, it's the stupid horror one that you're like, read the one with the 1,000 eyeballs.
Oh, God.
Fuck that,
read
dude.
it.
No, I'm
You
not
have
doing
to.
it. No.
Please. Just
Please.
you'll feel alive. You'll feel what it's
No,
like.
I
to
won't.
live.
Bye,
You'll
guys.
feel alive because you want to die.